Liam, I remember you mostly from your dramatic and action roles. So why do you think comedies doesn't come knocking more often? And why is The Naked Gun the perfect fit for you?
I don't know. I mean, I've done a couple of little television skits before that, before this, that last maybe 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. That was my experience of comedy, really, in front of a camera. So I was very touched and humbled that Seth MacFarlane called me about this. I wasn't personally questing after getting into the comedic genre at all. It just was one of those flukes. You get a call. And then getting the chance to work with Pamela, Danny Houston, who's an old pal.
Yeah.
You know, there's days when you sort of nip yourself on set and say, if someone had told you in a physics class at the age of 14, this is what you'd be doing at the age of 72, 73, I'd have thought, come on, you're pulling my leg.
Pamela, you gave a beautiful performance in The Last Showgirl, and then you gave another awesome performance in The Naked Gun. So what inspires those different acting engines from project to project?
I like to do different things. I want to play different characters, and I'm just so lucky that I get to work with all these great directors lately, including Kareem and a couple other movies I've done since. I mean, comedy, I think you approach it the same way you do a dramatic role. You create the character and you're not playing the jokes. You're in the relationship and the chemistry and the vulnerability and the tenderness. That's what I look for. And no matter what the character or what the story calls for, that's what I really look for and want to play.
And Liam, a couple of years back, we talked about violence in movies, and you said that watching films with a hard edge in a theater with an audience was a way to experience that mix of emotions and having a relief, letting off some steam. So what do you think comedy brings to the collective movie experience?
We all need a bit of a giggle and a few laughs, as basic and simple as that, And I'd love people to go out and see this film, August the 1st, whenever it opens in your country, and just have a communal shared laugh, giggle, It's silly comedy.
How is it on the set to keep the mood of the comedy flowing?
On set, you are kind of concentrated on what is the comedy of that moment. What are we trying to construct? What are we trying to, wait to reveal to the audience what the joke is? And, I come from a stand-up comedy, improv, theater background. So with that, it's less about structure and more like you're just trying different things. So it's funny. It's like a lot of thoughtfulness went into the humor in the movie, but then it almost plays like a bunch of different sketches or like comedy clips throughout the film.
Is it hard sometimes to keep a straight face when you're shooting it?
Yeah. Also, like Liam, we've been so trained to watch Liam Neeson be dramatic and serious. So sometimes when something comes out of his mouth and he's like, I ate 5 chili dogs yesterday. It's kind of like, you're like, oh my God, that's hilarious. It wouldn't be funny if I said it. It would just seem like real life. But when Liam says it, it's hysterical,
So what's your take on the original series, and what was your reaction when you got the call to be part of the new Naked Gun?
Love the original films. I thought the originals were really, really funny. I think my favorite one is Naked Gun 33 1/3, the final instant. I remember that one best, but I just think those movies have a playfulness and a reverence to them that is kind of unoffensive. To me, it's just like childhood. Like there's a sense of play that we lose as we get older. And this comedy in particular really captures that kind of free fall, trust fall of playing around and being silly and frenetic and crazy. And I think in our dark, dreary times right now, and things are very sort of, our headlines have become so abusively. I just think this movie is such a gift, and I really hope people decide to unwrap it and go to the theater and laugh with a bunch of strangers,
And you are in another big movies this year, Balls Up, Deliver Me from Nowhere, Fantastic Four, which I saw bits and pieces with your character on it. So I'll remain, I'll keep my mouth shut right now.
My lips, yeah.
But For an actor, the scope of the project is something that matters, or is it all about human connections?
It's a little bit of both. I think I choose projects based on logistics. Are they going to take care of me and my family while I'm filming? I mean, that kind of thing matters. But also, it's just about what would I want to pay my own money to go see in theaters. As a person who works in Hollywood, I don't get a free pass to just go see every movie. I show up and pay $15 for the ticket and probably 20 for concessions, and a babysitter costs 25 an hour or something crazy nowadays. So it's like, a night out, you really want the movie to perform for you and the people you go see it with. And, when I sign on to a film like Fantastic Four or Springsteen or this comedy opus, Naked Gun, I feel like I'm signing on to something I would pay my money and take my time to go see.
I was wondering, how did Naked Gun come along? But on top of that, did you guys, when you got into the project, ever hear someone say, don't touch my sacred movies or else?
So the backstory is that Seth MacFarlane, my partner at Fuzzy Door, worked with Liam on 2 movies. And at some point they had a conversation, I think it was on TED 2, about the movies that they love from the past, the comedies. And these movies became a conversation. I think that it was clear from the way Seth was talking, and Liam found this, was that Seth really thought that Liam was a good idea as a dramatic leading man to be able to come in and play a new version of The Naked Gun, because, as you know, Leslie Nielsen was a dramatic, actor coming into these spoof movies from the past. So that was kind of the origin of how we said yes to it. But I'm going to do Akiva to continue the story.
Yeah, well, basically they called me and said, do you want to make a new Naked Gun? And I was like, no, because it's perfect, the old one. And kind of getting at what you're getting at, the rule to remakes or reboots or doing a sequel is like, you want to find something that was broken that you can improve upon. And there's no room for improvement on the first Naked Gun. So the Liam Neeson piece is actually what got my brain working and made me lean in. When they told me it was him, I kind of saw how the last 30 years of movies could send me in a new direction, and how rather than trying to be as good as the original, I could just be different, and find something new to do with it. And to your second half of it, it is like, those were the first questions, like, how do we separate ourselves while honoring the original and the tone of the original? And so in the first day of writing, we were like, let's make him the junior, make him the son, as a way to tell those people, hey, this isn't trying to replace the movie from your childhood. It is a new movie where we know how good Leslie Nielsen is. We know he was a unicorn. We know we'll never be able to replace him. So we're not trying. He's still there. He's just as good as you remember. And this is his son, who also can just say in the beginning of the movie, like, I want to be just like you, but at the same time, completely different and original. And we can just kind of lean into making a new, thing that follows the same formula of dramatic actors, dramatic music, dramatic lighting, actors playing it real, but everything's wrong kind of thing.
So we don't see a lot of comedy in the big screen these days. And even, with such a big IPs, such as, Beverly Hills Cop and Happy Gilmore, they're going straight to streaming. So having a theatrical release was sort of a deal breaker as well.
I have to say it was part of the conversation from the beginning with Paramount. We never considered it. They never considered it a streaming movie. I think that all the things that we're talking about in terms of walking into an old masterpiece and trying to remake something, you have to be pretty clear of what you're doing and how you're doing it, and that it is going to stand up or be as different as possible. And we all held hands and jumped in together, hoping that we were going to do that.
We all thought it was going to be theatrical, and we never discussed home video, but we're all parts of the modern world. I knew it was always an option that we would test the movie and they'd go, you know what, let's put this on Paramount Plus. you can't deny that's part of any equation now, that is a possibility. So I'm very happy that it remained theatrical.
O que você quer, menininha? Teu rabo.
Quem é você?
Frank Drebin Jr., Esquadrão de Polícia.
Whoa.